Hello dissenters, my name is Italix and I am here today to welcome you back to Boulderline here in the game Banished. Today we are going to be completing work on this hospital. The foundation is up and ready, the materials have been deposited. We're also going to take a minute to take a deep breath because the food crisis is averted. We have over 1,000 food now. I've only skipped ahead slightly, but our new methods of producing food, the new fishing dock and the new gatherer's hut, which is somewhere buried back here in the woods, have been helping us out in that regard, making so much more food and getting that stabilized. We're going to try to keep a close eye on it. If it dips down too far, I got a few more spaces that I can assign some workers. So, look, hospital, going up quickly, almost 75% done. Looking at that lovely foundation, we're going to need to have at least one laborer to assign a physician. Let's take a look at the jobs menu. We have 2 laborers, so let's go ahead and preemptively assign 1 physician to start working there. And we've got even more students now, 7, a whole bunch of people. Let's see how many in total, 54 citizens, so our population is going to start bouncing back. And while we have this menu open, let's take a look at the graphs, because I'm curious to see what the food graph looks like after that gigantic famine. You can see this is pretty much the tail end of the famine right at this marker. It starts going up slightly, taking some huge dips as the citizens come out of their homes to grab food to store for later. And with these spikes, we've reached the point of 2,000 nearly, where we have started sliding back down, but we're balancing out. Let's take a look at the 5-year graph. Wow, that was actually a really lengthy famine. That famine lasted for about 2 years. There's a 1 year, 2 year, 2.5 years thereabouts. So, good grief, it's cool to be able to use this graph. You can even go up to 100 years, which is insane. So that's a really old civilization at that point. We can check on nomads. We can check on some trade items, of which we have sheep and chestnuts now. But look how many more we still have left to collect. Crazy. All right, feeling good, feeling good. Boulderline is coming back. It's bouncing back with a vengeance. We're going to start work on the market as soon as this hospital is created, and we're going to speed the time up so that we can start getting this made even faster. It looks like we're still low on iron and tools, so that's not great. Let's take a look at the blacksmith really quickly. It looks like we're just needing materials. Okay, we have someone actually working here, and the hospital just went in, and it is complete. So take a little look-see around there and admire the town square, starting to fill in all the little gaps and spots slowly but surely. We have a worker here, right? No citizens available? Yeah, we do. Okay, good. They just went to work. They had to apply for the job and get accepted and check all the credentials and such. Okay, so our goal right now is going to be to help with the tools situation. We've got people in the quarry with no tools, and we've got some other people scattered around that I've seen with no tools. So, what is this? Nomads have arrived at the town hall. Curious. Very curious. Let's pause the game while we take a look at this. 5 nomads requesting citizenship. Allow them to become citizens of Boulderline? Ooh, just 5 new people just like that. Okay, we will accept them gladly with open arms, and there they are. Let's slow this down a bit so we can take a look. Who are these nomads? Ryle, the 22-year-old with ragged clothing, no education, no tools. So as you can clearly see, something that you're going to have to keep in mind when taking on nomads, not only do they need homes, but they need clothing because they've just been wandering around in the wilderness. You're going to have to educate some of them. Who left this baby out here to crawl for himself? One of you take responsibility for this child. Put him in a stroller or something. I'm not sure exactly how many of the nomads one home will be good for, but we'll have to wait and see. The good news is that we have more workers and more laborers now than ever before. So, 4 extra workers, they're going to go back here and cut some of the rocks that I've designated and get some extra stone resources. We're going to take one of them and make them a miner. Actually, 2 of them and make them miners immediately because we do have that tool shortage because we have no stored iron, so get those miners to work. I have determined that I will start another home because we still have a bunch of homeless nomads roaming around here anyways. But what that allows me to do is create 2 more builders to start working, so maybe that will speed this process up. We finally got some of the resources being placed down on this leftmost wooden home. I didn't know that this was such a big ordeal. There we go. One is ready to be constructed and built now. The other still needs to have some resources placed, so we'll just get 1 extra laborer in there because I think that these, I don't understand why certain people are bringing resources, like the fishermen. Who are you? You're a fisherman too. Why are the fishermen doing this task for me? The miners even bringing resources. That doesn't make any sense to me. I thought laborers or builders were the ones to do this, but apparently I am mistaken. think it's time to give these nomads a proper welcome. It's been like a full year, but we finally built a house for them. I don't know how they've been coping otherwise, but now they have a home, or someone has a home. Somebody just jumped on in here. Who are you? The 15-year-old laborer, Ramontgomer, of course. Maybe you'll have a home here fairly soon as well. You're helping to build your own house with your own 2 hands. That is great. So a trader has arrived, and he's got kind of unfortunate timing because we don't really have much to trade with. But I think I'm going to get some wheat and trade some herbs. I don't know. Why not, right? So we'll get rid of all the herbs that we have here, trade for those, we'll restock with more herbs, and we'll go ahead and dismiss him. Hopefully he didn't have anything else that we might need. So send him on his merry way. I'm curious if he'll go around the fishing dock. Indeed he does. What a skilled sailor, so adept at his craft. I think now we're going to work on increasing our supply of lumber and firewood, because firewood is a great item to trade with, and it's also amazing to have an excess of. It's just oh so useful. So let's make another woodcutter. It can't hurt to have 3, I don't think, because we're constantly running out of stored firewood. So over here in the resource production, we're just going to get another little woodcutter. So we'll just put this woodcutter in the most convenient place possible in this little square, which it seems to fit perfectly. Why not just go ahead and take advantage of it? We'll face it towards the stockpile because that just kind of makes sense. We'll go ahead and get that constructed. That's going to help us maintain a supply of firewood because our homes are getting cold right now. We're also going to want to take our builders off and maybe assign them back to foresters. And that's going to allow us, of course, to increase the supply of lumber, which is in turn going to increase our supply of firewood. It's all a little chain. Everything has an impact on everything else. It seems that perhaps the hospital was not as necessary as it first appeared. We've got 0 patients, and I think we've had 0 patients for this entire time. So, not great, but it's supposed to help prevent illnesses and heal okay, well, we'll just assume that it's doing something good because I haven't seen many people dying yet. But speaking of people dying, 27 graves have been filled. This is a legitimate graveyard now, halfway full. Whew. I'm kind of glad I made it when I did because we are getting a lot of use out of this, maintaining this happiness, which is going to, I'm assuming, help our citizens be more productive and not just be slothful and depressed. With our full force of foresters, 8 in total, that is a tongue twister, force of 4, we are producing quite a bit of lumber, and as a result, even more firewood is being stored. Let's lower this fuel limit to 250. Actually, no, let's just keep it at 350. Who am I kidding? For now, this one is particularly effective because as soon as she is done, she just deposits it right outside to the stockpile, which is great. You can see we've got a huge excess now. Now that that is under control, next plan is to get this market to be constructed. We'll use one of our new laborers to help with this building process. In fact, let's just use all 3, just kind of makes sense. Anybody else who's not working, such as the tailor, is going to be contributing to that labor force for us on our behalf. It is past time that this market be complete and start surfacing the homes that are being put in around this neighborhood here in the town square. So that's the new goal. We've got enough lumber, we've got enough stone. Iron is elusive because our blacksmith is hard at work making more and more tools. Arion the builder has just died of old age, so now we've only got 2, only 2 builders. It'll be fine. We've got a whopping 14 children. That's 21 incapacitated people who cannot work yet. That's double. Actually, 50% more is how much that would add to our current labor force. I'm excited to see the growth, and I'm excited to see what this merchant has to sell us. Looks like the trader has chickens. I know you only need 1 chicken, but I am going to go ahead and take 2 because this is super realism, and we're going to play pretend here. So let's go ahead and put this in 175. Plus 4 warm coats is almost enough. We don't have quite enough. We don't really need all 200 firewood, but we can keep the warm coats this way and put them back in our stockpile because we're kind of low on clothing anyways. 200 should be enough. Let's go ahead and make this trade. Now we've got some chickens. Wonderful. We can dismiss this trader. Oops, didn't mean to close that window. Let's go ahead and take the clothes back. The warm coats, we don't need to put them here. We've only got 3 in the stockpile right now anyways. So that will help us out with the stored clothes front. All right, people are dying and more people are replacing them. Such is the way of Boulderline. We got a bunch of food right now, so I think it's okay if we take a couple people away from this task. Let's take 2, the gatherer and the fisherman, away and have them start doing some other tasks. I think something more important, like I said, is getting some miners in there and 1 extra stone cutters. And hopefully that'll kind of speed up this process just a little bit. We're only 2 iron away from being able to actually start building this market, so that's great. The excess miners that I have assigned to start working have been pumping out a lot more ore than usual. Look at these poor wood or stone cutters in the quarry here, just trying to cut through the snow. 88% of the quarry remains. We're pumping it out, though. We've got 100 stored stone right now, 300 firewood, 2,500 food. Boulderline has bounced back in a huge way. Ooh, and look, the market is going up and being constructed now. Amazing. Let's get a 3rd builder on the task just to try to make this go up even faster. This market may negate the need for the storage barn. As you can see, the market itself does have a radius around it where it does take effect. And that effect stretches all the way out to even this storage barn. So that's going to be great because it encompasses all of the structures here. However, the 2 homes on this side of town, kind of out of luck. They're living out in the forest. They can't really have a reasonable expectation of being serviced, I don't think. Looks like we're having some clothing shortages as the market continues construction and starts popping into being, looking snazzy. Only 94% of our people are clothed. We have no stored clothes at the moment because we appear to be out of materials for something. So we've only got 6 wool and 26 leather. It's weird that these sheep are not producing more wool considering we have reached the count of 9. Let's see how much wool they're producing per season. 18 in the previous season. That is going to compound to 24 this season, which apparently is just outpacing, simply put, the amount that we're able to produce because we have just so many more people now. We've got almost 70 people, just 1 tailor, and those just little bit of sheep are not going to be enough. So in the future, what we can do is click on this and we'll be able to actually split the herd of sheep into yet another pen. That's going to allow us to raise even more sheep, get some more wool, so that's going to be important to use in the long run. For the short term, we have an excess of leather. Let's just make some hide coats and try to combat the winter months and make sure our people stay warm, clothed, and well fed. We've got an 80% educated rate right now, which is amazing. Our school is working very well, filtering out the dummies, making them all smart, making them all more efficient at their tasks. The downside, of course, is that they are much slower to turn into laborers. However, the benefit is once they do, they are amazing at their task. More people becoming students, more people being born even as I talk about them. All right. The big moment we've all been waiting for. We've been waiting like 5 episodes for this market to come into being. It's 96% complete right now. We're going to watch it pop because I love seeing that transformation. 98%, 99%. Let's see it. Let's see what it's good for. Oh, that just looks so good. We need a vendor. Okay, so we can have up to 12 vendors. So the market can be troublesome apparently because we need people to actually work here. So let's set up with, what, 2 vendors right now? I don't know, does that seem reasonable? I have no clue. Let's see if we can find the vendors, if they're, like, actually setting up shop. They're bringing materials. Cool, so they're bringing the tools, they're bringing the leather and the venison out of the storage barn, and they're going to in turn use it to sell here at the market, which already has some materials and supplies, probably from the other storage barn. I'm guessing this is another vendor? Yes, it is. Great. This is really cool, actually. You can see people starting to take their materials and supplies from the vendors here, and they're actually walking around the places instead of walking through them. Pathfinding, they've got that down pat. Sweet. Good stuff. Really happy with this. This is going to fill up quickly, and it's going to be a much easier way for all of our citizens to stay stocked on food and firewood. It carries firewood, too. Oh, that is awesome. Okay, cool. So you don't have to use stockpiles for firewood anymore once you have the market. Amazing. I am really happy about this because it just completes the look of the town square. Now we just need the rest of the homes and maybe a tavern to go in right here, and things are going to be looking really snazzy. If you're enjoying Banished and you want to see more videos like it in the future, please let me know by leaving a like on the videos that you like. Follow me on Twitter if you're not already. Link to that in the description of this video. My name is Italics, and I will see you next time in Boulderline.